education instructor in the world, but if your mom or dad or uncle or sister or brother or grandmother don't get you out driving, then you just won't learn enough. So we're going to go ahead and answer questions right now. We got other questions, put them in. I'm starting from the bottom. How do you know is your time to go on a roundabout? You look before you get into the roundabout. You yield. You look to the left of the roundabout. You look to the right. When it's clear, you go in. If you don't look, then you're going to run into a car. Then you are at fault. What do you do if you're, I'm going at the bottom up, if you see a deer on the side of the road and it looks like it wants to cross, should you slow down? You have to go at your usual speed. Obviously, if there's no one behind you, you can slow down and flash your lights, but you never want to stop and put yourself in danger. Deer will freeze because they're scared. And if you see one deer, you will see another. You've seen deer in our state before. This is nothing new, but now you're a driver in a car. If a deer comes out and you can't stop, you have to hit it. You don't want to swerve to the left. You can get hit head on. Then you're at fault. You just hit someone. If you veer to the right, you're going to roll your car over. So you have to make that conscious decision. And I can't tell you what to do because each of you will do something different. But the law is very clear. You don't veer for the deer. What do you do? What do you do if you're stopped at a red light and someone gets out of the car and attacks you? You don't let them attack you. You drive away from them. You leave space between your car and a car in front of you. You never get boxed into a car or groups of cars. Again, you always leave an out. Don't drive in the wolf pack. The wolf pack is a group of cars. If you drive with a group of cars, you're stopped at the light in those group of cars. If you're speeding with those group of cars, everyone in the group will get. Leave room. Never be vulnerable to have someone get out and attack you. Let's keep it moving. Why are left turns dangerous? We already explained it. I'll explain it again. You're turning in front of oncoming traffic. Traffic is going across your face. This is my left hand. This is the left lane. This is us, the right hand. We have to wait for traffic. We turn hand over hand in the nearest lane. Left turns are the most dangerous. You're turning across oncoming traffic. You have to yield to traffic. But we've learned that beginning drivers don't judge distance and speed very fast. And in the wintertime, at night, in the rain, you're late to school, you're going to shoot that gap and you could get killed. Just like the lady less than 2 weeks ago ran a yellow light, 20 years old, killed a motorcycle rider without a helmet. That's another story. She ran her light, making the motorcycle. She was going straight through. She ran her light. The motorcyclist was making a left turn. Don't run lights. I've taught you not to run lights. So if you make that decision, you're going to play with death. Russian roulette. Eventually, you're going to lose. What precautions should you take? We saw the video. Let's break it down. Make sure your car's warmed up properly. Make sure you have good tires. Make sure that you have enough windshield washer solvent. Make sure your windshield wiper blades are good. Leave early. Drive slower. But because you're young drivers, first-time drivers, everything is fast. I want to go get donuts. Fast. I want to go to see a pro football game. Driving fast. I want to go see my friends. I want to go to Cedar Point. Driving fast. Everything is fast because that's all you know. But snow slows you down. That is the one equalizer that slows all. My mom is the best driver. She's going to drive slow in snow. My dad's the best driver. He's going to drive slow in snow. He's got a monster truck. He's going to drive slow in snow because those people with big aggressive vehicles, they're pushing other cars. They're going to crash. You will see this, and you've seen it because you've been in a passenger seat 15 years, 16 years. Snow and bad weather slow us down. But because you're a beginner, you're going to get up like you normally do, 20 minutes before class starts. You're going to throw your clothes on. You won't eat breakfast. You're tired. You left your books at home. You're going to get in the car, but you didn't put gas in. You understand what I'm saying? So that is where that adult responsibility comes in. And fortunately, you're still in high school or college or community college. If you miss over 10 days of class, you're going to lose credit. That's where some of you will get in trouble if your parents are late. We were talking about this in school today. If your parents are chronically late, because middle school kids don't drive, high school kids drive. So now that's on your mom and dad. So when or what is a good place for us to use high beam headlights? In bad weather, you use your high beam headlights. When there are no cars around, when it's not fog, you use your high beams. When you're within 500 feet, you turn off your high beams. Your high beams can blind other drivers. So you want to use your high beams sparingly. You want to use it when there's not a lot of light. In fog, you think, hey, I want to turn my high beams. No, the fog particles reflect the high beam lights. So you can't use your high beam lights. Good question. We already talked about the high beam lights. Use, how do entrance ramps from the left on the freeway work? They work, most of the ramps, a lot of the ramps, you enter the expressway from the right. You merge in from the right, you merge into the first lane. There's some entrance ramps on the left. The left lane is traditionally used for high-speed driving. That's the question on your test. That's the question in your packet. You have to be aware. How common will we see them concerning the driver on the right? You'll see them occasionally in certain downtown areas. Downtown areas are older than the suburban areas. Many of you live in suburban areas, newer homes, newer streets. In the older metro areas, you have street lights. In suburban areas where many of us live, you don't have street lights. You don't have stop signs. You don't have yield signs. Okay, so you need to venture out of your safe zone. Beginning drivers tend to do a lot of small, light driving. You drive from school home. You drive from home to your job. You're not going to downtown Metro Detroit. You're not going to downtown Chicago. You're not going to downtown Houston, Texas, because you're going to be gone for 3 hours. Your mom or dad are like, where are you? I'm in downtown. What are you doing there? I just wanted to drive around. Come home now. So you won't be chilling to go down there. You might go down there for a concert, a sporting event, but you won't be driving in that downtown area, and there's more people. And you have to learn how to parallel park. We talked about that yesterday. If you can't parallel park, you won't get that spot. The question's going good. I'm going to keep going. What to do if something covers my windshield while I'm driving? You're going to have to pull over to the side of the road, scrape off that window, scrape off the windshield wipers, and keep it moving. You've seen your parents, oh my God, I've got to pull over. Or they grab the windshield wiper blade and they slam it against the windshield. You will have to do that too. So those are some common things that you have to do because you're going to be driving in the wintertime. And that's going to be a little bit more challenging for you as you continue to develop. So I'm just looking at what questions we have before we move on, because that's what good teachers do. We talked about ice on the windshield. How do you know when the left lane you turn into how do you know what lane to turn into when turning left? You look at the lane markers. You look at the lane. Most intersections have 2 lanes, 3 lanes, 4 lanes, or some of them are multi-lane. If you're in the middle of the street, you're probably by the double yellow. In the snow, in the wintertime, everything's covered up. So you should be able to drive without the pavement markings. You have to learn how to drive without the pavement markings. So you always want to turn in the nearest lane to you. If you turn in the wrong lane and cross over and have an accident, you will get a ticket. We talked about the deer. We talked about roundabouts. We talked about someone attacking you. We always leave an out. Leave room so you can drive around cars. Get away from people. Never be in a pack. We talked about why left turns are so dangerous. We talked about precautions that you need to take on icy, snowy roads. Get up early. Make sure your car's warmed up. Make sure you have good windshield wiper blades, extra windshield wiper solvent. Make sure you're dressed properly, but many of you would just put a hoodie on because at your age, hoodies are your winter coat, your summer coat, or your fall coat. Your hoodies are. We talked about high beam headlights. When do we use high beam headlights? Where should we use high beam headlights? You might see that on the test. We talked about when do we usually use high beam headlights in really dark areas where there's no light. High beam headlights, we talked about merging in or an expressway entrance ramp on the left. Is water or ice harder to drive in? They're both a challenge. Water, you'll hydroplane. Ice, you will slide and you won't have steering control. Good question. Okay, we answered some good questions. I hope that brought you value. Bye. Okay, guys,